myself because I just need to compose myself after what was an incredibly exciting 45 minutes there. Manchester City 2, Real Madrid 1 in this semi-final first leg. Shaun, Gota, what a half of football.
What a half. I've lost my voice. And a half of football. Listen, we move the ball to move the opposition, and it's so brilliant that you could see how our players stay wide and allows us to have that space. And the way in how we've moved the ball, and everyone's played a part in terms of shifting the ball, moving it with good pace. Mahrez, again, we see what he's been able to do with that delivery. Right the way through. Everyone's been absolutely brilliant.
I mean, it was in from the off, and we're going to talk about the goals in just a second, and it's so great to see some of your reaction down there. You can just tweet at or hashtag Man City if you want to try and see your tweet on there. 2-1 at half-time. I'm ecstatic, don't get me wrong, Shaun. Do you think they'd be a little bit gutted that we maybe weren't 3, as Alistair Mann said, maybe 4-0 up with the chances that we had within the first 30 minutes in particular?
Yeah, I think knowing the players and knowing the manager and his staff, yeah, they'll be definitely disappointed because they were great opportunities and the players they fell to, 9 times out of 10 they put those chances away. But we're 2-0 up against a fantastic Real Madrid side, 2-1 up, sorry, against a fantastic Real Madrid side, and what more could you ask for, knowing that you can create that many chances against a side like this, so you know the opportunities are still coming? Absolutely.
There's another 45 minutes still to go. Goals in just a second, but Shaun, I just want to pick up on something you said at the end there. We, of course, saw John Stones go off, we think, sadly, to a niggle maybe that he was experiencing. As we know, he wasn't in the Watford squad. Fernandinho's come on, though, and as you said, he's just playing like a seasoned right-back.
He's playing like a seasoned right-back. I mean, this is the thing about Fernand. This shows you the quality and the intelligence of him as a player. Wherever he's been asked to play, defensive midfielder, centre-back, right-back, he can play a number of positions. He's come on and actually, instead of looking at it and being a weakness, he's actually been a strength. He's now driving forward as a right-back, overlapping, driving runs, delivering balls just into our front players. And again, they've looked and just went, well, perhaps we can go down that side. We have to look at another situation. But he's come on, got the tempo of the game straight away, been brilliant.
Manchester City have been loving the early goals. There was a stat I brought you a couple of weeks ago. De Bruyne's last 3 scored. It was in the 5th minute. I think in the Watford game, it was the 4th minute we scored. And I think that might have even, I think it's gone down as 3. It might have even been 2. But it was an electric start. Talk us through the goal, Shaun.
I mean, yeah, it was a fantastic start. Obviously, in the corner with Mahrez, a few nice touches, as we know they do. They like to obviously beat you with the possession, get out of it, and for some reason go back in to the same space. But it always seems to work. And then Mahrez puts a great cross in, and De Bruyne's in there with the header. He gets inside of the full-back and in between the centre-back, and he places the header very well.
He's popped up all over today, De Bruyne, hasn't he, so far in that half? He's been absolutely colossal.
I think it's exactly what me and Goat said in the pre-game stuff. I think he's finding loads of those spaces in the midfield areas behind all 3 midfielders, and the centre-backs and the full-backs are too scared to go near him, because if they come out, then they're leaving a space in behind him, and he's picking up some beautiful spaces. And when you give Kevin De Bruyne that much time, you know what he can do, and he's just pulling them all over the place. He's dictating the speed and tempo of the game completely.
What's brilliant about him in regards to that goal, you normally, because he has such a great strike with his right and left foot, you normally see him hanging for that square pass. But he's seen the space, he's gone in there and got on the end of that. Because not often we see him make that sort of run, because his quality of striking a ball on the edge of the box, he's like, if I have a shot on the edge of the box, it's as good as a 8-yard header.
Yeah.
But he had, the balls is a great delivery by Mahrez, and he's there and puts it away. So brilliant that he spotted it, brilliant finish.
There's a couple of other chances, I think, of note before that. But then, I mean, if there was a man who you said would fancy him scoring after his performance at the weekend, it would be Gabriel Jesus. And he was the man that got the second. Can you talk us through that, Shaun, as well?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I was so excited. But it's De Bruyne that receives it. And I think it was a bit of luck in how it was sort of deflected or ricocheted through. Well, with De Bruyne, I can't even doubt it. I think he meant it. Because it's going through to Jesus, who's just, again, got him there real quick and just finished it. And again, this is why I thought he'd start, because when you come off a game, 4 goals, and the form and how he performed, I just thought he has to start. And he's lived right up to it. Not only in possession, but his pressing. He is really, their defenders know They may know the pictures and what's going to happen when they receive a ball, but they're not been anticipating to have a center forward be right on them the minute they receive it. So they're looking for those options and go, oh, I can't see him because Jesus is pressing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when they've passed it back, they know what he's known for as well, because every time he tries to shut the goalkeeper down, they keep kind of blocking him out. So they're aware of it, and they know clearly Courtois is not good under pressure, as we've seen a few times before. So I think we just have to keep doing exactly what we're doing, to try to nullify the little mistakes and a little bit taking too long on the ball. I think that's where a few errors come from. And other than that, the game's in full City control.
Let's speak about those couple of mistakes, because it definitely felt as well that I felt, particularly in the first 30 minutes, that Madrid weren't doing anything to get at us. It was actually maybe those like slight lapses of concentration that have allowed them in, and that's kind of where the goal came from. It was, I think, more closer to where you were watching it, Shaun. So what happened there? Was it a defensive mistake, or is it Benzema class?
No, don't get me wrong. You can't take that finish away from Benzema and the ball in. That's fantastic football and a fantastic finish. But in general, I think if I remember correctly, it starts over in Zinchenko's side. Chances to get the ball up the field. We play little passes that are in the wrong area where normally they're clean. These ones were just scraping through, and then it takes a deflection out. Mahrez goes in for a tackle. Modric wins that tackle, and then it drops to Mendy. It drops to, and Mendy puts a great ball in. But like I said, it's just, if you look at the first 20 minutes of the game, how quick we was moving the ball around. Even if we had nobody pressing us or nobody near us, it was still like bam, bam, straight away. We just didn't give them a chance to think that they can get the ball. As the game went on, it's like Real Madrid started smelling, all right, we're getting closer to being able to nick the ball. And was just taking a little bit longer, but I think Pep will get that out of them and they'll be back to normal.
I think that's absolutely key. They've sniffed and got a bit of sense, and there's even a little apprehension in the crowd in terms of, there was a period where when we were going back, we weren't as assured when we passed it coming forward. And that little bit of uncertainty made Real Madrid think, when we press, perhaps we can get something. And just that little doubt, because normally we are 100% when we come clean, passing out the fence. So I think that gave them a little encouragement. But just speaking about Benzema's goal, there was quality to it. And the quality is recognizing that when you could strike a ball really hard, and recognizing when you just got to deflect it, just knock it goalwards.
Touch it right.
Yeah. And he's gotten into that position we spoke about, between his centre half and his fullback, because a lot of his goals seem to come from those areas. He's gotten in that position, and he's decided not to lash it, because an inexperienced striker would lash at it, probably hit the target or probably not, but he makes sure by just guiding it, because he paces on the cross, and that's what beats the keeper.
Because the ball comes in that way, doesn't it? And then he kind of what's the foot? I don't know how he's almost made the ball find that corner.
It's like a pinball machine, and you know when the ball comes down, you just leave the flapper up.
Yeah,
and it just pings back up.
Benzema left the flapper up.
He just left it up, and he just flapped it in. But no, like Gold said, it's great technique.
Yeah,
it's great technique from a great player, and we have to give it to Real Madrid. They're still a great team. They're going to have opportunities, and they have the players to put them away. But let's recognise they only got those opportunities through our mistakes.
Yes.
Once those mistakes are gone, then they wasn't really that threatening. I thought we dealt with everything really well.
Agreed.
Absolutely right. The disappointing thing is that it could have been out of sight. This game could have been out of sight. So in the dressing room, knowing that Real Madrid is a quality team, 2-1 is still slightly on edge. We need to build ourselves back up to get that third goal and then to kick on. But when you look back and Pep will be thinking, this tie could have been done. We could have been 3 goals, or certainly 3 goals or 4 goals.
And making substitutes.
And making substitutes, exactly. Yeah. So it's got to build back up to that rhythm, to the momentum, to that confidence, get those goals and take it away, knowing that we could still, deal with the second leg, but almost have it won.
Absolutely, that's what we exactly want. And I've got to say as well, the atmosphere inside the Etihad, which, we're very fortunate to be here, is electric. The Manchester City fans are definitely doing what Pep has asked and bringing the noise indeed. Let's just take a quick look at the stats from that first half. We can bring you them now. It looks like this, and as you can see, Man City kind of had that kind of, as we expect, the possession of the ball. They've only had Madrid 2 attempts on target, really 2 or 3, but it doesn't feel as though they've had, it says they've had 5 in total, 2 on target. It felt less in the game, if I'm honest with you. Of course, you can see the saves as well there. Keepers have kind of been fairly the same. Obviously, more passes to be expected from City. Were you surprised? It did feel that our 2 goals kind of felt like, for me, and tell me if I'm wrong here, you are the pros, that they were a bit more of a counter-attacking goals than what we used to see with City. We kind of almost picked up the ball and then just went at them. Would that be fair to say, Shaun?
I would say no. I don't think they. I think they were more possession goals.
Okay.
I think both of those goals came from nice sequences of play from City, like especially the first one and then the second one, where obviously Goat said there was a little bit of luck with the bad defending from Real Madrid and it falls to Jesus. But in general, I thought they were both very possessed goals.
Yeah.
It seemed like a counter-attack because we go with such pace. And we're going from the middle of the park, we're driving from wide, and we're driving forward with, De Bruyne. Every time I look, I think, this guy is quicker and quicker. He really does have pace, but when he drives in behind defence, it looks like it's a counter-attack.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, it's been normal build-up, and now we're just shifted, and once he's received it in that little pocket and driving forward, it looks as though it's a counter-attack.
45 minutes still to go here at the Etihad. Don't forget, Matchday Live will be with you come full time. Hopefully, we might be talking about a couple more goals, but we'll take the 2-1, don't get me wrong. What's being said then in City's dressing room at the moment by Pep, and what's the plan coming into the second half, Shaun?
Well, we know what Pep's like. He doesn't like mistakes and he always wants more from his players. So I just think he'll be asking for more and try to nullify the mistakes, to be honest with you. And if we play like we did in the first 15 minutes, I honestly believe the game can be out of sight.
No. And if we were to look into the bench, maybe, Shaun, do you think you could see maybe any introductions, possibly? Or do you think because the team's playing so well, it might just be let these 11 play it out?
Well, I think looking at the bench, we've got quality right the way through. But I think it's amazing because I think pace is a quality that you can't defend. And I look at the bench and I see the quality young players we have, but I'm seeing Grealish and Sterling, and I'm just thinking those players receiving the ball, running at them. You can defend a lot of things, but you can't defend pace. Once a player's going across you got to start heading towards the goal. So those players excite me in terms of being able to get it and commit players. But right now, there's no need to change anything, quite frankly.
Yeah, cut down those mistakes, gents. Absolute pleasure. And speaking of defenders that are struggling with players against pace, that must how they all felt playing against you, Shawnee.
I thought I was quite slow, to be honest with you.
Not a chance, not a chance.
Quick upstairs he was.
The question is, how quick can you get back to your seats for the second half, do you reckon?
In my old age, it's going to take me about an hour.
Well, listen, thank you as always for watching Matchday Live. We're going to be with you at full time. Remember, you can get full commentary on the City app with Alistair Mann and Andy Morrison. And also, in a couple of hours' time at full time, you can actually get this full match in full, a whole highlight package. It's full replays on City, plus you just have to sign up, subscribe, and you can watch the full game. And also, of course, those wonderful documentaries made by City Studios. 2-1 is the score at half-time. Of course, it's almost the first quarter, isn't it? Second half to go, and fingers crossed we'll be talking about City win. Here is Alistair Mann. Come on, City.
Well, welcome back to the second half of the UEFA Champions League semi-final first leg.